Right now, somewhere in the world, a man is throwing up in the morning, he is gaining weight, he is exhausted, his back aches, he is not sick, his wife is pregnant now and his body is responding to it as if it is happening to him too. This is not a psychological trick. Scientists have measured it in blood samples, in brain scans, in hormone levels, and what they found changed everything we thought we knew about what fatherhood does to the male body. In this video, we are going into the science of what actually happens inside a man's body, from the moment his partner becomes pregnant, through birth and beyond. 3 things are happening simultaneously that almost nobody talks about. His hormone chemistry is being rewritten. His brain is being physically restructured. And science just found evidence that this entire process may actually protect his brain from aging. All of this is happening quietly, invisibly, in men all over the world, right now. Here is something that will surprise you. When a man's partner becomes pregnant, his testosterone starts dropping, not a little, up to 30%, or in some studies, measured across the entire pregnancy. Scientists at the University of Michigan tracked expectant fathers and confirmed it. Starting as early as the first trimester, testosterone levels in men begin a measurable, consistent decline. The closer the baby gets to being born, the lower the numbers fall. Now, testosterone is the hormone most associated with aggression, competition, and risk-taking. A 30% drop is not subtle. That is a fundamental shift in the chemistry driving a man's behavior. But the testosterone story is only half of it, because at the same time testosterone is falling, something else is rising. Prolactin, the hormone that stimulates milk production in mothers, begins spiking in expectant fathers. Prolactin is a nurturing hormone. It is linked to caregiving behavior, emotional bonding, and sensitivity. Men's bodies produce it normally at low levels, but during their partner's pregnancy, those levels climb, reaching their highest point after the baby is born. And there is more. Cortisol, the body's primary stress response hormone, rises in expectant fathers, in sync with their partner's cortisol. Scientists believe this is not coincidence. It appears to be a shared biological state, 2 bodies responding to the same life event in parallel. This combination of changes has a name that scientists have studied for decades, Cuvard syndrome, from the French word couver, meaning to hatch or to brood. And despite how strange it sounds, it is remarkably common. Research estimates between 25 and 65% of expectant fathers experience real physical symptoms: nausea, weight gain, back pain, fatigue, sleep disruption, and in some documented cases, even tooth pain and nosebleeds. These are not men imagining things. Their blood tells a different story. Their hormone profiles shift measurably. The body is preparing itself, redesigned from the inside, for what is coming. And the question scientists asked next was, if the hormones are changing, is the organ that controls all behavior also changing? MRI machines do not lie. In one of the most remarkable studies in the science of fatherhood, researchers in Spain and the United States recruited men before they had children, scanned their brains and then scanned them again after their partners gave birth. What they found was not subtle. The male brain undergoes measurable structural change. During the transition to fatherhood, grey matter, that is the layer of brain tissue dense with neurons, the actual processing layer of the human brain, shifted in volume across multiple regions. The areas that changed were not random. They were specifically the networks governing empathy, social cognition, emotional processing, attention, and reward. In plain terms, the parts of the brain that allow a person to read another person's emotional state, to feel concern, to pay close attention to someone else's needs, those regions were physically remodeled. But here is the detail that genuinely stunned researchers. These brain changes were not only found after the birth. Functional MRI studies found that expectant fathers' brains begin changing during early pregnancy, before their partner's body shows visible signs of pregnancy. The brain's anterior insula, a region linked to empathy and body awareness, showed early activation changes in response to infant cues in men whose partners were just weeks pregnant. The paternal brain was coming online before the baby had arrived. Scientists describe this as neuroplasticity, the brain reorganizing itself in preparation for a role it has never played before. The same process that happens in mothers' brains during pregnancy was found to be happening in a measurable and real way in fathers too, and the magnitude of these changes was linked to something unexpected. The more involved the father planned to be, and the more paternity leave he took, the more pronounced the brain changes were. The brain, it appears, is shaped by what it is asked to do, which makes what researchers found next even more extraordinary. In 2025, a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, one of the most prestigious scientific journals in the world, used the largest neuroimaging dataset ever assembled on parenthood to ask a question nobody had thought to ask before: does having children change how the brain ages? They analyzed brain scans from thousands of people, and what they found was striking. Men who raised more children showed significantly higher brain-wide connectivity than childless men of the same age, particularly in networks tied to movement, sensation, and cognition. Here is why that matters. These exact same networks show lower connectivity as men get older, but in fathers, those networks appeared more preserved, more connected, more active. The findings suggest that active, engaged fatherhood may buffer the brain against age-related decline. And critically, this was true for men specifically, not just parents in general. What this means is that the caregiving itself, the act of being present, attentive, and engaged with a child, appears to be doing something to the male brain that extends far beyond infancy. It is not just the hormones. It is not just the brain restructuring. It is the ongoing experience of fatherhood, year after year, that appears to be maintaining brain networks that would otherwise fade. The male body, it turns out, is not a passive bystander during pregnancy and fatherhood. It is an active participant. It is being rebuilt hormonally, structurally, and functionally for what is being asked of it. And the science suggests that the more fully a man steps into that role, the more his brain rises to meet it. So here is what we now know. From the moment a man's partner becomes pregnant, his body begins a quiet transformation. His testosterone drops. His nurturing hormones rise. His stress chemistry synchronizes with his partner's. His brain begins restructuring its empathy and attention networks before the baby has even arrived. And if he stays engaged, if he shows up, those brain changes do not fade. They appear to accumulate into something that may protect his cognitive function for decades. Fatherhood was never just an event. According to the science, it is a biological transformation, as real as anything that happens in the mother's body. It is just happening somewhere. Most people never think to look. If this changed the way you think about fatherhood, even a little, hit subscribe. We put out videos like this every week, real science, things most people have never heard of. And if you know someone who is about to become a father, send this to them because nobody told them this was coming.